And we are back with another episode of the Hockey Princess podcast. I am your host, the Hockey Princess. We have Krusty Old Guy once again. Yeah, Krusty, you excited with the new layout?
I am. Look at that. If that just isn't the cutest thing ever.
Well, starting off, guys, we've got an announcement. Well, we made the announcement, but now we can officially make the announcement on the show. Is we are a part of the Hockey Podcast Network. Woo!
Well.
So we are very, very excited. It doesn't change a ton on just our, day-to-day podcasting. We'll just probably have a lot more friendly faces come on, maybe around the draft, going into next season. So there'll be a lot more new discussion and new faces for all of our lovely listeners.
That's excellent.
Right? We love it.
It is. And we're getting an intern?
Not yet. Baby steps, Krusty.
Okay. All right, go on.
Starting off, we're going to start off in the P-Dub because the playoffs have ended. A new champion has been crowned in the PWHL League, and that is your Montreal Victoire. They have won the Walter Cup. It was a battle of Canada versus Canada for the finals. You had Montreal versus Ottawa. Ottawa definitely fought hard. My heart goes out to them kind of because I believe they were also in the finals last year and lost to Minnesota. But yeah, the wife line is a champion. You've got Marie-Philippe Poulin winning the Alana Kloss MVP, which is the PWHL version of like the Conn Smythe. So that was great. You love to see not only that team, but also Poulin, get a big win. The Olympics were not what Team Canada and what she expected back in February with just the injury and everything that kind of happened back in February. So it was really cool to see a lot of them get a big win. So they are champions. And as a reminder, we've got the awards coming up June 16th and the draft June 17th. And I would like to, with this fantastic celebration, I would like to put somebody in the Hockey Princess dungeon.
Whoa.
Yes.
It's a dungeon?
Yeah.
When did it become a dungeon? Get it.
It's
Princess
not allowed to be
Castle.
a corner.
Right. Dungeon. I get that.
I would like to put the TNT broadcasting in the dungeon. Because there was a comment during the Montreal Canadiens versus Carolina Hurricanes game saying that the only thing that Montreal has going for them is the Canadiens being the Eastern Conference Finals, while the Montreal Victoire were in the house with their actual, championship trophy and being champions. So I would like to put them in the dungeon because I think that was just a really poor comment on their end. And also, just as a reminder, friends, you can always listen to hockey on mute.
Yes, you can. Well, my recommendation, at least for a little while, is I definitely would not be listening to any pregame or in between the period stuff. And I found the comment a little bit more silly, considering, if I'm not mistaken, was F1 there?
Yes.
In Montreal? So I'm pretty sure they had big things happening all weekend.
Yep.
That's just the silliness that is TNT, which is head and shoulders above ESPN, which then gets to tell you what kind of hot garbage we have all around. Yeah, I didn't completely catch that, but I did catch the part of Montreal has nothing else.
Yeah. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure there's somebody sitting in the stands that has more Olympic medals than truly anyone on either of those NHL teams.
Yes. And again, unfortunately for us, we can't get the TSN feed, which would be really nice here if we could just get that for our conference finals and the Stanley Cup. It would be super, but we don't get that. So
Yeah.
here we are.
Yep, here we are. But we wanted to throw out a massive congratulations to the Montreal Victoire. Again, I'm very excited for the draft in a couple of weeks. One, because I just love a sports draft. I know it's a glorified job fair. We've been over this. I still love it. I'm excited to see where KK Harvey goes. I'm excited to see where Layla Edwards goes. I'm excited to see where Abby Murphy goes. I'm excited to see where the new expansion teams, because we've got Hamilton, we've got Vegas, and we also have San Jose as a new addition for the PWHL world. Also, there's been a lot of criticism of, people in general, I think, just like to criticize Southern hockey in Florida or California hockey. The San Jose Sharks the San Jose City, not the Sharks. They do have the Sharks, have an NHL, an AHL, and a PWHL team now. So maybe we just move the little tagline from our friends in Detroit of Hockey Town and move it over to San Jose. Because having 3 teams in one city seems like a pretty big hockey town.
Sure does. And you got to hand it to them.
Yeah.
There's been a phenomenal growth in California, and it's been for a while, but for them to, San Jose will be a big part of the P-Dub moving forward. So, that's the big place to attempt to conquer.
Absolutely. And then, we've got some announcements with some different head coaches, general managers. Obviously, with the expansion teams, there's some new head coaches and GMs on the scene. Some people are moving over. But there is one big speculation when it comes to PWHL world is assistant coach Jessica Campbell of the Seattle Kraken parted ways with the Seattle Kraken at the end of this year and during this kind of off season. So does assistant coach Jessica Campbell become head coach for one of the P-Dub teams? Does she stay in Seattle to be the head coach of the Torrent? Does she go somewhere else? Does she stay in the NHL? We don't know, but it's a big thing that folks are speculating on.
So was she let go, or did she walk away?
Ways.
The classic parted ways. I love that. Well, I am sure she will turn up someplace. That's for darn sure.
Absolutely, because she's phenomenal. If she gets a head coach job, great. If she's an assistant coach and sticks in the NHL, great. I'd love to see another, female head coach in the P-Dub world. However, I do know that there is a very large salary discrepancy between what a head coach in the P-Dub makes versus what you could make as an assistant coach in the NHL. So if you stay in the NHL to make a bit more money, I think that's also great too, because we always need more women in hockey in general.
Yeah, and that's twofold. She's breaking barriers, which is important for any group that is not used to being someplace. It is a very difficult thing to do. But it's kind of a badge you wear then, that you kind of want to keep on breaking the barriers. So, I would assume it gets more difficult if she goes to the P-Dub to turn around and then go head coach at the NHL level. Maybe the path is better head coaching at the AHL level if possible. I don't know, but I'm sure part of that she's geared that way because it's pretty impressive.
Absolutely impressive. That is all I have in the P-Dub world. Christy, do you have anything, or you just have the countdown ready to see where Abby Murphy goes?
I just want to see where Abby Murphy goes, and then full disclosure. And I'm also going to do a taboo on this show and ask a question that I don't know the answer to, and I don't know if you know the answer to, but I did not watch any of the finals. So my question being, is there a way for me to rewatch any of it? I saw the celebration. I believe the The game was 4-0 for the winning game, correct?
Yes.
But I didn't watch any of it. It was on my to-do list. Things just got too crazy in Krusty World. So
that is completely fair. We are triple checking. Let's see.
okay, well, let's not worry about it now. You can continue to check.
Yes, you can, Krusty, because the PWHL has done and continues to do what the NHL always fails to do, and is make the games gosh darn accessible for people to watch. So if you're like Krusty and you also missed it, guess what? They're still up on YouTube. I had to double check and make sure because I know that they stream on YouTube for all of the games, but I didn't know if they stayed up there and for how long. But they're still up there, Krusty.
Okay.
So I highly recommend it. You got to check out the Wife Line. I have a feeling, granted, I know Abby Murphy will be one of your favorites, but I would also check out another Abby, and that is the Abby Rock. She is your type of player.
Okay. You're gonna have to continue with it for a second. I've got a bad barking dog.
Oh,
Give
that is
2 seconds. I know.
Okay. Well, while Krusty goes, we're going to ramble still a little bit more about the PWHL. So like I said, guys, we have the awards coming June 16th, the draft on June 17th. Big news for this year is you had 235 players declare to be, to go into the draft for this year. So it's going to be just a significantly larger drafting pool than in the couple of years past, which, I mean, it's going to be entertaining regardless, but bigger pool means just even more exciting stuff.
Yes, it does. Terribly sorry about that. I've got new neighbors who moved in behind us. They put up a swing almost like the swing set Hockey Princess had in the backyard. But we're struggling with Rutu the dog. So my apologies for any of you first time watching this show. It happens occasionally.
It does happen. All right, let's jump to NHL really quick. We've got the Western and Eastern Conference Finals. This is recorded early, guys. So technically the Colorado Avalanche are still in it. They may not be in it by the time this comes out. We don't know. But before, let's talk about the matchup that I can actually stomach to talk about. And that is your Montreal Canadiens versus the Carolina Hurricanes.
Okay.
It's been interesting. I think I can't have full hope in the Carolina Hurricanes as much as I would like to, as much as there's, different players that I'm definitely a fan of. And I like watching them. I like watching Svechnikov. I like watching Jarvis. Being able to just see the Carolina Hurricanes goaltenders do well is great. I just can't have full faith yet until they actually make it past the Montreal Canadiens. I think the Montreal Canadiens have done well up until this point and are still continuing to do well, but I think they're running into just a more veteran, disciplined team, and you're starting to see a little bit of the wear and tear with the Montreal Canadiens, not necessarily at a performance level, but maybe just the Carolina Hurricanes are getting in their head a bit more, because the Hurricanes obviously have been in the Eastern Conference Finals many a times, where a lot of these guys on the Canadian side, haven't. And so you're starting to see a little bit more wear and tear. They're getting a little bit more frustrated, not playing as dominant as they have in the past.
I think that's fair, but I don't think they've played against a team like this.
No.
And, their constant recipe. It's hard to win hockey games when you can't muster 15 shots on net during a game. I just think they're now too much for them. there's something that could be said. They're out in the first round if it's not for Dobish.
Right.
How much it's difficult to expect your goaltender to let in less than two or less every single game. And it's just, that's a good ball club. I still like their gaming. I
Oh,
mean,
for
they're
sure.
just they're picking their spots and then making it happen. I just, at the end of the day, they're probably just outmatched.
Yeah.
Except in net. But I just think it's a recipe for disaster to be constantly relying on him.
Well, that's an interesting, because I do think, one, Dobish has played out of his mind up until this point, like absolutely insane. But I do think maybe this round more than others, you're starting to see a bit more of his frustration, because he's taking quite a bit more penalties this round than he has in the past couple.
Yeah, and again, that's constantly seeing the action, and I'm sure there's a frustration level. Carolina is running at him a little bit, and
Yeah.
that's what you want to do. I mean,
Right.
he's got this charismatic, attitude and everything else, and you'd like him to bring it out. Yeah, you want him talking.
Yeah.
Because a lot of talking is probably less concentration, but his play hasn't shown that.
No.
At the end of the day, even game one, Carolina just is, since game one, since really the first period and a half, they've dictated play. I mean, the chances are astronomical as far as the difference.
Yeah.
So, but Montreal's got a ton of skilled players.
Absolutely.
For me last night, you're not going to like this statement whatsoever. I really did enjoy watching Lane Hudson give the puck right to the Russian for the game winner.
Listen, I don't have beef with the Russian. I just have beef with people who decide to like crap on Artie.
Oh, I hear you on that. I have a beef when somebody's barely holding onto their stick with two fingers and there's a penalty drawn because somebody knocks the stick out of their hands.
Yeah.
That's penalty number one. And then in overtime, he takes a tiny hit to the knee and does a Superman looking for a call. I don't need that in my hockey.
Yeah.
And I understand it worked for Lane Hudson dropping the stick and they got a power play goal. But for the way Krusty likes things, that was kind of nice to see him with the big cough up in the OT winner.
Yeah.
Either way, it's an unbelievable learning experience for Montreal. I love watching Josh Anderson play hockey.
Yeah.
I really do. He's that guy that the Hawks are missing, and just he delivers come playoff time. I just think Carolina just might be too much for them. And the other wild part is, we get the complete talking about how that building is incredible, yet they're really struggling to win there anyways. So, it is what it is. Hopefully Montreal can come back, and be nice if this went 7.
Yeah.
So I just don't think it will without a little more offense from Montreal as far as chances are concerned.
No, that's totally fair. Yeah, I feel like it's going to go in Carolina's direction as of right now. Could be wrong. Weirder things have happened this postseason. But, and I also can't, like I said, I can't be fully committed on the Carolina Hurricanes because it is the first round or the third round. This is when they have issues. So I can't fully trust it just yet. Let's flip over to the West, the drunk matchup, as I refer to it, because this is absolutely nonsense. I'm going to admit something to our listeners. I really haven't watched much of this series. I haven't, especially after the first game. I have no desire to watch the Vegas Golden Knights on my screen, no desire to listen to broadcast about the Vegas Golden Knights on my TV. This is just, I'm not watching it.
That's okay, Hockey Princess. Krusty's watching it enough for the both of us. Hats off to the Knights in that game 3. They were down 3-0, and it didn't even bother them. And this is before McKinnon got hurt. I understand the Makar missed the first 2 games. I didn't see this coming. And I've been a proponent on this show saying the veteran group in Vegas is going to win you playoff series. And I still had them completely counted out when this thing started. Not many had them going probably more than 6 games. Looks like this will go only 4. They just keep coming. Their structure is very, very good. They don't get flustered. They just keep on doing and that's a whole bunch of talent. Thomas Hertl was a top player 3 or 4 years ago in the league. And he's playing like third line. It's just, and the return of Wild Bill has just put everybody in place. And that team just looks unstoppable right now. And, now you add on the Colorado injuries. And for me, it starts with Kadri, Brock Nelson, and the one guy that Rod did not want him on his team. And that's Marty Nashis. And Rod indirectly had always stated he just did not trust him come playoff time to play that hard game. And I'm sorry, Marty, you haven't shown me that you were ready to take the next step in this series. That's for sure, especially when you had some injuries and you needed to step up. But those 3 have been missing. And, occasionally when people aren't going the way you need, and that's what I liked about Colorado was their depth. That, and you didn't have a number 1 goaltender, and you've been out goaldied. That's kind of the way it is also. So nobody would have seen this coming. It's completely crazy. This was a team that was firing on all cylinders, and then all of a sudden, whoomph. And
this trophy comes for us all, unless you're Blackhawks.
Yeah, it usually does come for everybody, and it's just, once that streak was broken, they had 40-something games in a row where if they were leading after 2, they don't lose. And they've lost leads twice in this series. So there'll be a lot of questions, and, you can put to rest a little bit of the pillow fight Pacific, because obviously they've taken care of the Central. So, hey, I've got to give props to them.
I'm still calling them Pillow Fight Pacific. Turning it on in the postseason and that's it, and being incredibly wishy-washy in the regular season, you're still Pillow Fight Pacific.
Yeah, but the name of the game is getting there. So
the New Jersey Devils had more regulation wins than the Vegas Golden Knights during the season. I'm not giving them credit, but I also don't like to give the Vegas Golden Knights credit in general.
I hear you. No, you do not. So sorry, that was my dog. She got clapped at. We'll see if that helps. Unsure right now. I might need to leave again.
That's fine. We've got, Presty, we've gone over the Berube out, because obviously we've discussed Jay Woodcroft is going to be the next head coach for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Knobloch out for Edmonton. Cassidy's already been denied being able to talk to Edmonton. That whole situation is weird. And maybe that's just a tally into why I don't like Vegas, because you fired the man. He should be able to go find another job.
Oh, sorry.
There we go.
I clicked myself off so there wouldn't be a barking dog and then forgot to click myself on. It's a little weird, but for the most part, that is the way things kind of roll.
Doesn't mean it's not weird.
Right, but they usually don't give permission even if they fired somebody while the team is still in play.
Okay.
So I do believe once Vegas is done one way or the other, he will be give permission to talk. I do believe Vegas being Vegas, they will want a draft pick. They will let him go sign someplace else, but they will say he's under contract for us. Give us a 3rd round pick.
Oh, to make up for the draft pick that they lost because they threw a temper tantrum because John Tortorella is a 5-year-old boy?
That is not completely on Torts. I think we went over that a little bit. Torts had nothing to do with who's getting mic'd up and refusing. That was a Vegas from the top who said they don't have to wear the mic.
Okay, so the Vegas top is a 5-year-old boy.
Yeah, they know the rules. The NHL is this is part of it. You watch that F1 series on Netflix or whatever. It's a massive hit, correct?
Yeah, Drive to Survive.
Right. The NHL wants their sound bites too, and you better wear a mic when they ask you to. And if you don't, this is what's going to happen because they want that. They won't get it to that level.
F1.
Huh?
Guys, is Krusty getting into F1? You've mentioned F1 twice now.
Well, I know it's a big thing. I know it's big in the hockey princess world. So,
yes.
No, but it's just it's part of it. That is one of the things that's, I believe, been part of F1's massive jump in the US is that kind of stuff. Gary Bettman notices that. Everybody notices that. And I think that was the one thing. Once they said, no, we're not wearing a mic for this game, I think Bettman went nuts. I think if Bettman could, he would have taken away a first if they had one.
Right, if they had one.
So, I mean, that's that part. That's the way the league is. You know, if I was a player way back when, I would have hated to have a mic on me, but it's part of the selling process of the game. So,
Dad, it was not having a mic on.
Yes, it was all part of it. They did. This wasn't all of a sudden Torts didn't open up the locker room and then this punishment came down. This had been building. They had been warned throughout the playoffs of not playing nice, not giving complete access. That was just the last thing. But basically, from what I've heard, the main one was the not wearing a mic. After Torts didn't open up the locker room, that was the final straw, but it had been building for a while.
So with Torts not opening up the locker room, we can call him a 5-year-old boy throwing a temper tantrum. He's not. You're closing the door so you can throw a temper tantrum in private.
Yeah, and again, if I'm Torts, if that's what I think I need to do, then I'm doing it. Obviously, whatever he's doing is working.
Gosh, don't remind me.
I know, but yeah, hey, you got to call it like you see it. And right now, he's got this team humming, but yeah, it's a collective thing of why that happened. And they wanted to make sure they got the whole league's attention.
It's a collection of grown men throwing a temper tantrum out in Nevada.
Okay.
All right, before we get to our team, we're going to flip it to a quick ad break, and then we'll get into our guys.
Okay. The Stanley Cup playoffs are here, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, has a new customer offer. When the ice gets coldest, the best players in the world show you exactly who they are. Playoff warriors turn it up round by round, and DraftKings turns up with them from the first round to the Stanley Cup Finals. Player prop bets, live bets, from the opening faceoff to the final horn, every moment matters. And yes, you can come in the third period and then drop bets just for the third period, for the next goal scored, the next assist. New DraftKings customers bet just $5 and you'll get $100 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN so you're ready for the moment. That's code THPN. Turn $5 into $100 in bonus bets instantly. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-MY-RESET. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 and over in most states. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. Limited time offer.
All right. We got our team. A little quiet right now, but a couple of weeks ago, it was the probable signing of Roman Kanserov, and now Roman Kanserov is signed. It's official. Became official, I think, the day after we recorded, which is normally how most news works.
Yes. Yeah, do you want to get started with that?
Sure.
Because I don't think I've had much time to talk about Kanserov.
Yeah.
You've been telling me he's the second
I've been
coming.
telling you his stats for years.
Yes, 4 years. And I've been told not to tell everybody to slow their roll. Nope, he's going to come in. He's going to dominate. Okay. I've been told he's unbelievably defensively also. Yeah, I don't know. People just talk. I don't quite understand it. It's a big signing. That's a guy who can put the puck in the net. They need people who can put the puck in the net. I believe KD has come out and stated that's a top 6 player. They fully expect him not to be weaned into this lineup. He is going to start on the top 6. Right go. I don't have a problem with that. We need goals. We'll worry about how to defend later, maybe. But
Or at all.
You need some excitement that's maintained more than just the first 15, 20 games. Hopefully he's able to continue with that spark. That power play gets better. That's for sure. Exactly how they work everything, that'll be figured out. But that's a big addition. As I've stated, the only problem I have with it is that that's an awful lot of pressure for somebody who's never played in the NHL.
Yeah, I will give him a little bit more credit because I think obviously going from any league to the NHL is a serious jump. But I think also playing in the KHL and having as productive of seasons as he has in the KHL, it doesn't scare me as much as the jump from like an OHL. Guys coming from international leagues where they're playing against grown men and not just other 18-year-olds or maybe a little bit younger. I am comforted a little bit more. I don't think it's going to be an easy, lights out from puck drop first game in October. My biggest concern is not even him playing top 6. If he plays top 6, great. What size are we pairing Kanserov with is my number one question. And not even unsure of his skill because he is skilled. The kid is skilled. That is an absolute fact. I'm not denying that. I'm not trying to slow anybody's roll to get excited about Kanserov coming over. I cannot have Kanserov, Bedard, and a smaller guy on the same line we are going to get eaten alive. What size are you pairing Cancer off with, Katie? That is my number one question.
Yeah, and I think that's valid, and that's a question for Katie to figure out via trade or something else this summer. It's going to be a little bit of a difference maker. The reason I say to slow the roll a little bit, RK was the leading goal scorer in the KHL, correct?
Yeah.
Do you know who's the number 4 goal scorer in the KHL?
No.
That would be Dylan Sikora. So
We love Dylan Sikora, lovely family, met them many a time.
yes. So again, it's a big ad for this team. No matter how you look at it. Do I need to go deal with my dog?
Yes.
Okay. Give me 1 second.
So we're going to continue talking about Roman Gantzoff. This is a very chaotic episode, but it's fine. Like we said, the kid is talented. I'm not concerned with him whatsoever in terms of his ability to play, his ability to score. He's 5'9", and a lot of these younger kids are on the smaller side, be it in straight up stature or, maybe they're a little bit taller, but they haven't filled out quite yet and they aren't as physically aware as they will be in the future. I'm looking at like a Sasha Boisvert, a Sam Renzel, may be guys who have the potential to be bigger, but just it takes time. So we don't have really a ton of guys that are bigger from the jump. There is no Brian Bickle on this team. I want Brian Bickle on this team. I need that type of guy to be paired with Roman Gantzoff, because I know the pipe dream for all the rebuild fans is, well, when Nestrasil gets done at UMass, he's 6 foot whatever giant. I think he's in between 6'3" and 6'5". But that doesn't settle me for what this season is going to look like. Nestrasil's not coming over this season. I need size with him in October. I need size with him, obviously, years from now, but I need a guy with him in October because I cannot have just 3 guys under 5'10" skating around. We will get eaten by Vegas, Colorado, Dallas, and Minnesota.
Yeah. It's just they don't have to be complete top 6 players. And Nastral, if I'm not mistaken, is tall.
He's in between 6'3" and 6'5".
Yes, but he's not thick as all get out. He is
not right now. I'm not going
right.
to say that an 18, 19-year-old can't get there, but no.
But the one thing we know, as you just pointed out, is the bigger power forwards take longer. They just do. But you need some meat to line up if you're going to have Connor Bedard and Gantzoff together. There has to be some form of meat. Will Frondel be enough? I don't know. Again, you're putting a lot of pressure. Where the problem starts to happen would be mid-season, when teams all of a sudden decide, okay, we're going to shut that line down.
Right.
We've got this really big and fast third line that we're going to match up and down the ice with. But as I said at the beginning of all this, let's not worry about that. Let's hope this team gets off to a good start, puts the puck in the net. We'll worry about the rest of it later. It won't be next year. Later, I would like to see Katie get something, but we'll see if that happens. Either way, he's going to bring excitement.
Oh, for sure. I'm just hoping that we get somebody in the offseason that can play with them because, again, a 5'9" line is concerning to me.
Yeah, and there's some players out there. There's some UFAs. It depends what you want, Would an Anthony Mantha...
Let's do more than just see who's a UFA. Make trades, Kyle. you can do it. It's actually something within the, umbrella of general manager that you can do.
Yeah. Again, it's hard to get people. All I know is if you're going to be making trades, the ones that usually pop up now around the silly season, we're not fleecing teams. The last one I heard was Elise Pettersson for Pridham and Florida's pick next year. I'm like, in what world do you think Vancouver just gives that up?
Right.
You have to give. You have to make it so this team goes, oh, that's just too good.
Yeah.
So, there's a risk factor with it. You've got some UFAs with size who might come in. We'll know more at the beginning of the year if this is exactly another tank year or it's not.
Let's hope it's not.
Yes, I hope it's not. Or, maybe all these young kids come around and they tell Krusty he's an idiot. That's what Krusty's hoping for.
We love that. Other big kind of drama in the Blackhawk world is we are saying goodbye to the Mickey Mouse.
We don't know that.
We don't know, but probably.
Yeah, I think it's with Mickey Mouse, the more I've read about it, it's just like Donato.
Yeah.
Here's our offer. Go out there. If you can find better, have at it. If not, our offer still stands. That's a huge void, especially on the penalty kill and everything else. It's hard to play this game. If you're wondering why, look at Montreal.
Yeah.
Slavkowski is coming to his own maybe the last year or two. Suzuki has become a machine in his last couple of years. Now he's like 26, 20. It takes time. It's such a man league, and it's just so physical during those meat and potato mid 50 games. It becomes a grind, especially on a young body. So what else do we got about the big club?
Well, we've got something that's a little exciting coming up.
I like excitement.
In a couple of weeks. It's kind of our favorite time of the year.
What's our favorite time? It's your favorite time.
Draft time. My favorite time. It's draft.
Yes.
It's always exciting.
Yeah. I've been starting to dive into it. The draft book has not come out on Elite Prospects yet. I've been perusing people's top picks a tiny bit. There's definitely a dropping forward after those first three. And after like 4, it varies from 5 to like 16, 17. I've got different names all over the place. So it's a weird year to be drafting for. We talked about a little bit about this today, and I'm sorry, but if those 3 forwards go first, the Blackhawks are getting another defenseman. It angers Hockey Princess. Look at the anger on Hockey Princess's face. That's her angry face.
Very angry.
I think the drop off after Malhotra to a Lawrence or the Finn is huge compared to the talent level that's with those defensemen. You're losing value of your spot.
Well, here's the thing, and I'm a Tynan Lawrence defender, and I would like to pose the question out to the hockey world, because you've had 2 guys this year. Well, one was in the WHL, racked up a ton of points before this year in the WHL, made the jump to college hockey, didn't have the greatest start for the first half, was pretty questionable with the first half, and then turned it on for the second. And he was given a lot of grace, a lot of patience for that first half. Oh, it just speaks volumes about making the jump from the WHL to college hockey. It shows that they're ready for the next step. Okay. Then he turns it on for the second half of the season. You have another guy who was in the USHL for half the season, jumps to college midway through the season over the holidays and has a shaky start, and he's a bust because he has a shaky start jumping with a new team in a new league in a new system that, rumors is a pretty faulty system. There's rumors and rumblings that something's going on within Boston University having issues, clearly. But he's labeled as a bust because he didn't immediately, get hot right when he made the jump from the Muskegon Lumberjacks to Boston University. And I'm curious for people, what is the difference between giving one player grace jumping from one league to the other and calling somebody an immediate bust for doing pretty much the same thing in the middle of a season? Is it just because the first guy is Gavin McKenna and you've been salivating over him since he was 16? And so now, no matter what he does, it is correct? Or is there something that I'm missing? And there is a distinct difference between jumping, having a skid, then getting hot, versus just jumping and having a little bit of a skid because you're on less time anyway.
Well, I can answer all of these for the hockey world, I think. Hopefully everybody's giving me representation for the hockey world. Number one, Tyler Lawrence is not a bust.
But that's
there
all
is
that
nobody.
He's dropping. He was projected to be top 3.
Right. He's dropped a little bit. Dropping and bust, two completely different things. We can go back to, when was it, last year with the Iserman or Weiserman, and he dropped. Some of that was valid. You bring up a very good point. I don't consider him a bust at all. I look at it differently. Number one, I know with Gavin McKenna could be incredible. His ceiling is bigger than Tyler Lawrence's to me. Can he do the rest of his game? That's the question, but that's the reason why he gets the pass, is he's just more talented. And I would agree with that. My take on Lawrence is just, it's the draft value. I don't value him at 4. Now at 10, oh my goodness, we're talking, yes, that's value. And I think when drafting, value matters unless you have locked in on somebody. Now, the league's always operated this way. Malholtra's a perfect example. Where was he 6 months ago? 3 months ago? Now, all of a sudden, he's the number 3 pick. That just happens. There's a little bit more tape on people, but again, do we know? I love Malholtra's pedigree.
Oh, absolutely.
But I think that kind of stuff happens. But I do believe when drafting, you better be darn sure when you're reaching for people. And if you were to say, like, take Lawrence at 4, you're talking about 6 to 8 spots before I consider where his value is. You better be darn sure. That's my thing.
Not that I'm darn sure. I
think you have a valid point.
I'm just not sure. Like, he was hurt at the beginning of the year, barely played time in the USHL, and then made the jump, and then was just completely criticized for having the need for an adjustment, jumping from a league to a league. And I'm like, oh, hold up. You were praising other players for doing the same thing. So I just don't understand it. The hill that I will die on is Tynan Lawrence is going to be one of the steals of the draft. If we do draft a defenseman, though, I do not want anyone that's coming out of the CHL or college hockey. There is another defenseman that would be a little bit of a reach, but not really. And that is your Albert Smiths. 6'4", left-handed defenseman, because you're already pretty lined up on the right side. Left-handed defenseman with size. Very interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting, but again, he's projected in your teens. I think if that's the route you go, then you somehow need to get something and move back.
I do think you need to move back. Ideally, I'd like to move back to get the Finn.
I like if I can get enough, I like moving back to get the Finn. It's just weird. Everything, again, I have not dove completely into these players. I'm hearing incredible things about Reed. That in 2 years, he is ready for prime time, and prime time meaning big time prime time. So that's hard to pass up.
I don't know. I think I would take the kid that was running the power play unit for his country in the Olympics at 17, because he hadn't turned 18 yet, I think.
Okay.
I'm taking the kid that's already playing at the big boy league, because if Anton Friendel has really showed me anything, drafting somebody that's already playing with people, years older than them has been boding well.
Yeah. Well, I think that's also a question that multiple teams will be asking, is where they're at. Where are the Blackhawks? Do they want a plug-in within a year? Or are they willing to go the long route on somebody? If we've noticed one thing, we're not very interested in going the long route. You've got questions about how we develop our talent, which are valid if you ask me. So, but I think San Jose's there also. If you're San Jose and you're thinking long-term, you draft Reed. But if you want to plug in somebody right away, then the Swede becomes somebody that you're really thinking about. I think I say you're still building. And if you have another right-handed defenseman, I am not going nuts about it. I believe after Malhotra, there's a drop in the forwards to the next one. Now, that's not to say that the Finn might not be better than Malhotra in 5 years. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying for right now and for the draft purpose, if you're taking somebody 10 spots earlier, you better be sure.
I'm sure. Get the Finn.
Because if you're not, there's complete issues. The Finn would be, I believe you could plug him in after a year.
Yeah.
And he's also a youngster. He's a early birthday, if I'm not mistaken. But again, he doesn't wow you because there's not a lot of points, but you know what he is.
I don't need him to wow me. I just need him for size. I have 5'9" guys that can wow me. I need him to take the physical brunt off of Roman Kanserov, off Connor Bedard, off Frank Nazar, so it doesn't just all fall onto Anton Friendel. Because do I really think that we're going to get somebody to take that brunt? No. I think we're going to draft somebody that could potentially take the brunt. And Oliver Suvanto, for those, we keep referring to him as the Finn, but it's Oliver Suvanto. I really hope that we trade back and get him. But he takes the brunt off a little bit physically. Could Malhotra? Absolutely. If we draft Malhotra, I will be thrilled. I just really don't think Vancouver passes him, which it leads me to look other ways.
Yes, and these are valid points. Again, I think the Hawks' fear that's starting to be realized is forwards might go 3 in a row. Everybody had written in that Reed was going to San Jose, and now everybody's unsure. You know how I feel about Oliver. You know how I feel about a 6'2", 6'3" centerman who I know plays a complete 200-foot game and plays the right way.
Yes.
Again, a player like that gives your special talented players an incredible amount of freedom.
Yes.
To do what they do. I'm with you on that. I'm just saying it's too much of a reach to take him at 4.
Why?
Because I'm not completely sold that he's anything more than a third liner, and Reed, I believe, would be a top 2 defenseman. That's why. Yes, do we have too many? Yes, but everybody can be moved. We're at the beginning of this. We haven't even started an upward ascent. So we're still at the baby parts of this.
Wouldn't you? Maybe I would rather swing for the fences and draft a reach than draft in a position that I have too much of.
It's valid. I'm just saying.
Why am I spending June after June focusing on the same things? I mean, granted, we gave Buffalo grief in June when they drafted another defenseman and then they made it to the second round. But yeah, I do a reach. Know who your guy is and commit to it, even if it is a reach. There have been reaches that have panned out.
There have been. You know how I operate come draft day. I don't like reaching. I believe the second round is when you start swinging. I've seen the reaches in Kevin Korchinski. I've seen the reaches in Lucas Reichel. But I don't consider the Finn a reach.
But we saw a reach with Moritz Seider.
Yes, we did.
You saw kind of a little bit of a reach, not a complete reach, but for number 3, you saw a little bit of a reach with Beckett Seneca. At least how everything was panned out on the paperwork.
You're making valid points.
I love when I do that.
I cannot argue that, especially how I feel about Oliver. As I said, I'll read up a lot more and be ready for the draft. Yes. Do I think our biggest need is we need to solidify some big centermen? Yes. But, everything.
Just big centermen. Let's only draft big centermen in 2026. 2026 is the year of big centermen.
Okay, well, we will see.
And maybe a goaltender. Oh, wait, no, we got a goaltender last year. This year we can pass.
Yeah.
I like the every other year picking up a goalie.
Yeah, I think you're okay in that. It'll be interesting. We'll be able to dive in more about that top second round pick also.
Oh, yeah.
There are other good centermen that will be there in the second round. A little bit more risky if they pan out or not, but there's still a good amount of centermen with size. We'll see what they do. As I said, if I'm looking for the Finn or Lawrence, I'd like to move back and get something that could help me now and move back a little bit. I believe in draft value, and you have to play the board a little bit. But the points you've made with the guy from Detroit and the guy from Anaheim are all completely valid. And, if we learn anything, Krusty rarely knows what he's talking about.
And there's also been plenty of not reaches that have not worked out.
Yep. Yeah, it's a hard league, and it's
we don't know.
It's hard to figure out.
Every draft year, we don't know anything.
Yeah, but it gets us, our dander up and gives us something to talk about, which we like.
Oh, absolutely. Krusty, got anything else for this week?
I do not.
All right, folks. Just as a reminder, make sure to hit that like and subscribe on either Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, YouTube, however you watch or listen to us ramble on a weekly basis. That is all, and we will talk at you guys next week.